Getting a new pet can be an exciting time for any household. But before taking that leap, prospective pet owners must always make sure that it's a good fit with the entire family first. When Adam and Danya DeLuca adopted a German Shepherd from a Florida shelter, they thought they were bringing home the perfect dog. However, one fateful afternoon, the DeLucas realized that they weren't exactly right about what kind of dog he truly was. When Adam and Danya brought their new dog, House, home, he seemed to be a great fit. He just bonded with all of us so quickly. It was like he was always part of our home, Danya said. Even the neighbors loved House. One day, 7-year-old Molly was gathering toys in the backyard with House by her side. The grandma watched from the doorway of the screened-in pool. That's when she saw House act in a way that would forever change the family's perception of him. He kept jumping back and then forward, Danya demonstrated, and he did it 3 times. Of course, Danya's mother, watching from a distance, feared the worst. A young German Shepherd, new to the family, moving aggressively around a little girl. The grandma's story, as relayed by Danya to various news outlets, was that she didn't even realize what he was staring at. But then all of a sudden there was all this blood covering the dog. In a panic, the grandmother called Danya, who could hear Molly crying in the background. The truth, however, was quite surprising. As they picked up toys on the far side of the yard, Molly and House had come face to face with a deadly eastern diamondback rattlesnake. Coiled and angry, it struck at Molly, only to have House jump in the way instead. He had instantly positioned himself between the snake and Molly, Danya said. He could have run, but House's protective instincts had him stand his ground, which allowed Molly to retreat to safety. With every bite, House suffered more and more. After the attack, the poor pup could barely walk. He struggled to breathe and his leg hemorrhaged blood. If a 68-pound German Shepherd suffered in that way, can you imagine what those bites would have done to Molly? Danya rushed home and immediately loaded House into the family car and sped to a veterinarian emergency care facility. With snake venom in his system, the brave pooch didn't have much time. What a rattlesnake bite can do is a lot of bad things, veterinarian Danielle Polio said. It can cause problems with clotting, so they can bleed into the wound uncontrollably. The eastern diamondback is the most venomous snake in all North America, and dogs who are bitten once have a mortality rate as high as 30%. House had been bitten 3 times. Within minutes of the attack, House's symptoms had already accelerated exponentially. When he reached the medical facility, doctors gave him 9 vials of antivenom, but they weren't as effective as they needed to be to save the pooch's life. Instead of injecting House with individual vials, doctors then set him up with an IV drip of antivenom and administered painkillers. He received antivenom 4 times every day for 4 hours. A typical treatment might only see 1 to 2 doses. If House was going to live, he would need some major intensive care, and that led to astronomical medical bills that the DeLucas simply couldn't afford. How could they pay to keep their beloved dog and their daughter's hero alive? That's when a woman named Charissa Vandergriff, whose relation to the DeLucas was unclear, stepped in. She set up a GoFundMe page for the family as a way to crowdsurf all the necessary medical payments for House's care. In the plea for assistance, she wrote, "The vet treatment has been extremely expensive." She continued, "It's been given multiple vials of antivenom. The vet bills are already at $10,000 and the treatment's not finished. His vitals are strong, his organs are functioning, and if they can afford enough antivenom, he'll recover with no ill effects." Would this be enough to save House? Soon, donations were rolling in. In a matter of days, the family raised $51,329, far exceeding their $28,000 goal. And they actually had to shut down people's ability to donate. House's story had inspired nearly 2,000 people to contribute money. Despite the pup's severe wounds, doctors expected him to make a full recovery, which shocked Danya. "It's semi-miraculous, his condition," she said. "What keeps me going is how he still flicks his tail every time he sees me come into his kennel, even though I know he's hurting." That's a dog who loved his family. In the end, House received some great news. "We hope that House will get to go home today," said his veterinarian, Jennifer Holm, on the May 18th, 2018 episode of Good Morning America. "We're doing a couple more checks on him early this afternoon, and fingers crossed, we hope that he'll get to go home either today or tomorrow." When the DeLuca family adopted House, they likely expected that they'd be gaining a best friend for the family. What they didn't realize was that clear across the country, another family was experiencing a creepily similar situation. When Nana Chichanda of Stockton, California, brought a baby pit bull named Sasha into her home, she initially had reservations. With her 7-month-old daughter, Masaila, Nana was nervous about how the dog would behave around her baby girl. But Nana was convinced that with the proper training, Sasha would grow to be the perfect playmate for Masaila. As it turns out, Nana's intuition was completely right. The two became fast friends and were more or less inseparable. With each passing day, the bond between Sasha and Masaila grew until the two became inseparable. In fact, Sasha was so protective of Masaila that the dog wouldn't even let her take a bubble bath alone. Now that Sasha had officially become part of the family, it wasn't uncommon to find her snuggled up in a bed alongside Nana and Masaila. But one fateful night, Nana decided to do things differently. On June 6, 2018, Nana decided to let Sasha sleep outside in the backyard. Being that it was a warm summer's night, Nana figured that the dog would enjoy getting out of the stuffy apartment and into the fresh air. Soon after putting Sasha outside, Nana took Masaila to their bedroom and the pair was asleep within minutes. But it wasn't long before Nana was stirred awake by an unexpected sound, a dog barking. At first, Nana wrote off the barking as that of a neighbor's dog. After all, Sasha had never been one to bark, especially as loud as the dog outside. But as the frantic barking continued, Nana knew that something was wrong. She hurried downstairs and threw open the back door, where her fears were confirmed. Even when she was back inside the house, Sasha still wouldn't calm down. It was like she was desperate to get Nana's attention at all costs. When that didn't work, Sasha tried another tactic. Suddenly, the dog made a mad dash for the upstairs bedroom, where Masaila was still sleeping. But before Nana could chase after her, the sight of something outside stopped her in her tracks. To Nana's horror, large flames were spewing out of the apartment complex next door. Worse yet, the blaze was quickly spreading toward her own unit. Before she could even think, the fire had now reached her apartment complex and was growing rapidly. With only moments to spare, Nana rushed upstairs to save Sasha and Masaila. When she reached the bedroom, Nana was stunned at what she found. Not only was Sasha completely calm in the face of such great danger, but she was trying to save Masaila as well. Gripping the infant by her diaper, Sasha had managed to pull Masaila out of her crib and was carefully trying to drag her out of the room. Nana grabbed Sasha and the baby and dashed out of the apartment. As soon as Nana and her family had safely left the building, she called 911. The fire department arrived within minutes, and after rescuing the remaining tenants in the apartment complex, they began fighting the massive fire. It took several hours for firefighters to completely extinguish the blaze, but when the smoke finally cleared, the tenants were relieved to find that many of the units hadn't suffered severe damage. However, the same couldn't be said for Nana. Because Nana's apartment had been so close to the initial fire, her entire unit and everything in it was destroyed. With their home and their possessions lost, Nana and her family were forced to move in with her aunt. But that's not all. Nana's aunt's apartment building didn't allow pets. So Sasha had to be separated from Masaila and kept with another family member. Even though Nana brings Masaila to visit often, it's clear that Sasha really misses her best friend. Since the fire, a GoFundMe campaign was started in order to help Nana and her family rebuild their lives. They're still trying to pick up the pieces of what they once had, but Nana knows that without Sasha, she and Masaila wouldn't be here today. Without her, we probably would have never made it out, Nana said of her heroic dog. I owe Sasha my life. She saved us all. She is our hero.